Hey class, so here's our reteaching assignment. Let me walk you through a couple of these problems, and you can use these on your assignment here so we can understand the concepts that we missed in Unit 1. So here we go. So first question here. What are the three equations used to express a line? Each variable has meaning or is restricted by a particular type of number. Let's explain each variable. So this one is just based right out of the text based on the three equations we have. So we have our first one, which is slope-intercept, which is y is equal to mx plus b. We have our second equation, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. That's point slope. And we have our standard form, ax plus by equals c. Those are our three equations that we have. Okay, so slope-intercept, point slope, and standard form. Here in slope-intercept, our m is our slope. B is the y-intercept, y-int. For point slope, m is still our slope, so we don't have to write that again. But then x1 and y1 are the coordinates of our point. So this right here is a point. So we take the x value and the y value of one of our points. Last but not least, A, B, and C here do not have any particular meaning to the graph. They are just numbers. And it turns out we have a restriction on these three. No, I can't spell restricted. Can't spell, but that's okay, restricted. And so A, B, and C must be integers. Okay, that's something I want you to know. So if we ever need to get to standard form, we have to make sure that A, B, and C are integers, and so we would multiply out any denominators. So that's number one for you. Number two, okay, we want to determine if this is a function or not. So in a function is going to be every x goes to one y value. One y value. That's the important part. That's the piece we have to remember here. And so one way we can do this is we can look and say, all right, so here's 3. 3 goes to 7. 4 goes to 2. Oh, here's 3 again. 3 goes to 2. Right there, these two are not the same. So 7 is not equal to 2. Therefore, this is not a function. And we would say not a function because 3 goes to 7 and 3 goes to 2. And so that is not allowed. Here we have x going to two different y values. Notice later on we have 5 and 5, but here we have they both go to 1. So that one's okay. These two are okay. However, because we have 3's going to different values, this is not a function. Okay, so here's number 3. You're gonna have to start doing some of these on your own here, but I'll show you some examples. I'm gonna show you B, I'm gonna show you C. So for part B here, we are going to, we wanna put this into slope-intercept form of a line. So we're reading through the directions. We wanna put this in slope-intercept form. We just have to do the equation, we're not graphing yet. So to put this in slope-intercept form, let's do B first. So I have 2 points here. -3, -2, and I have 4, 1. In order to get slope-intercept form, I've got y equals mx plus b. That's the form I'm looking for. Trying to get it mx plus b. And so I've got to find the slope and I have to find the y-intercept. Okay, so here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to start by finding my slope. Slope is going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And so to do that, I'm going to plug in my y value. So I'm going to plug in 1 and -2. 1 minus -2. And I'm going to do 4 and -3. So it's going to be 4 minus a -3. And so if we simplify those, I got 1 minus -2, that's going to be 3. And then 4 minus -3, that is going to be 7. So my slope here is 3 over 7. There's my slope here. Okay, so we're halfway there. So now we just need to figure out our b value. To figure out b, I'm actually going to use my point slope equation. I'm going to use my point slope equation, and then I'm going to distribute m through and combine like terms. So if I do that here, I've got y is equal to 3 over 7 times x minus, now I'm going to pick one of these points. I'm going to use this point here. I'm going to try to avoid some negatives here. So x minus 4 plus 1. And so here, all I have to do now is take that 3/7 and distribute it through to each point. So now I've got y is equal to 3 over 7x minus 4 times 3 over 7 plus 1. combine. So now I've got my x term, and I have these two constant terms, and you put those together. Y is equal to 3 over 7x minus, so 4 times that, that's going to be 12 over 7 plus 1. Now 1 is the same thing as 7 over 7. So we can combine, so these guys here are going to make 7 plus 12, those have a common denominator, that's 19 over 7. So my final answer would be y is equal to 3 over 7x minus 19 over 7. Okay, so that's part B. Part B is done. Wow, we ran out of space for C, but that's okay. We'll do C over here on the margin. C is a little bit simpler. Whenever I have an equation like this, I'm just going to get y by itself. I'm going to get this isolated. So I've got my 2x minus y equals 9. X minus y equals 9. I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. So now I have negative y equals negative 2x minus 9. Whoopsies, not minus. This is a positive 9. That should be plus 9. And then now I have to multiply or divide, you pick, by negative 1. So here those negatives will cancel. I get y here. If I divide by negative 1, I have to divide this term and that term. And so I flip the sign. So I'm going to have 2x minus 9. And so there's my final answer. It's in slope-intercept form.